Hello again. We are live. It's your girl Erica Danielle with Heartbreak Hotel. I am happy to be here to read with you my book, Married to the Backslider. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. We're glad to have you. Married to the Backslider was published in 2017 and it is available on Amazon. So go and get your copy so that you can make your notes in your book. Spread the world's word and tell a friend. We are currently on episode 5, chapter 3. Okay, guys, it's getting good. It's getting good. Like I don't want to stop. I'm chopping this up because I don't want you guys to be bored and not listen to the whole thing. So we're doing it in sections, but it's getting good. We're gonna see how far we can get today before my baby wake up and start terrorizing all of us. All right. Again, Heartbreak Hotel, check in to check out so that you can feel better, so that you can get the help that you need. This is chapter 3, episode 5, self cleansing. All right. It was Saturday morning. Me and Joe still weren't talking, and we hadn't slept together all week. I had cried every night, but I was determined that if he didn't want me, then I wasn't going to beg him. I was meeting Angel because she was a true friend. I had no idea what was going to happen in this place. I was just there because she asked me to be there. When I walked in the building, I saw a group of women. They were telling about their week. I introduced myself and kept it short and simple. Angel said that I could join the group later, but for me to follow her upstairs. I followed her into a room with a couch and some chairs. I sat down when in came another lady. Angel turns to me and says, "This is Dr. Stone. She owns this building and has group therapy here for free every Saturday morning." "Nice to meet you," I said as the woman shook my hand. I looked at Angel. "I know what you're thinking, but Dr. Stone isn't just any shrink. She's a minister, and she has agreed to take you on as a patient. You just have to be open." "Angel, I really appreciate this, but I don't think it's a good idea." Dr. Stone interjected. "You don't think it's a good idea to get to the root cause of your problem so you can be made whole?" I sat back down. Pause. I just got to tell y'all this. In case you're wondering why I wrote this book, at the time, I wanted to be in therapy so bad, and I could not get into therapy. Like, I didn't even have time to be in therapy, like, because my life was so crazy. So I wrote this book as therapy for myself. I sat back down. "I'll stay with you if you like," Angel said. I nodded my head yes. "So, Miss Silver, just tell me the basics about yourself and we'll go from there." "Well, my name is Eva Grace Silver. I'm from Wilmington, North Carolina, and I moved to Raleigh, North Carolina when I was 18 to attend college. I have been here ever since I've been married. I've been here ever since. I've been married for 1 year and 8 months. My husband and I run an after school program, and the kids are like our family." Dr. Stone, "What brings you in today?" "I'm so stressed. All me and Joe do is fight. I can't talk to anyone about it because I don't want people to hate him. I don't want people to think of me as a victim, but that's how I've been feeling lately. I'm so confused. Everything I thought about marriage is supposed to be out the window. I have no mother to call and ask about what to do and how to do it. I just feel like I made a big mistake. I think it's time for me to leave." Dr. Stone, "Really? How long have you felt like this?" "For at least 5 months now." "Eva, do you believe in God?" "Yes, I do." "Over the course of our counseling period, I want you to dig deep into your faith. Be honest with me and yourself and put your trust in the truth, who is Jesus Christ himself, okay?" "Okay." Dr. Stone, "Let's start from the beginning. Tell me about your childhood. I want to know all about you." "Well, I was raised with my mother and father and my younger twin sisters. I have an older brother by my mother." Dr. Stone, "How was life at home?" "Well, I don't see how that's going to help my problem now, Dr. Stone. Let me tell you some more about Joe." Dr. Stone smiled. "I just need to know as much about you as possible first so that I can help you. It's typical that we start with childhood and work our way up. Believe me, we will get to Joe." Angel, Eva, it's okay. This is a safe place. Disclaimer: names, places, situations have been changed to protect persons in this story. Growing up, my mother suffered from sickle cell anemia. She was sick a lot, which meant I had to take care of the twins. It was hard, but we managed. You took care of the twins? What about your brother and your father? Well, my brother was older than us and by my mother's first love, Russell. They, my mother and Russ, were supposed to be married, but when he was drafted to the army, he was stationed in some place that was too cold for my mother to live because of her disease. He lived in Maine. They tried to stay in contact, but the relationship didn't work. Tamala, my mother, remarried when RJ was 10 and she was 28. Russ didn't like the idea of some other man raising his son, so RJ moved in with his dad. Tamala was torn, but believed it was best for him to be raised by his dad since he was becoming a man. Besides, she was still young and she had more children with her new love. Jeff. Doctors had said it was impossible and fatal for Tamala to conceive again. After all, she had almost died at the age of 18 when she gave birth to RJ. Although Jeff agreed to wanting children, he secretly never wanted kids and just assumed that Tam would follow the doctor's orders and abort the baby if she ever became pregnant. But then I was on the way, and Tam's newfound faith in God would not let her abort me, nor would it allow her to believe that God would let her or the unborn child die. So here I am, and the twins came 7 years later. Wow, said Dr. Stone. So it seems to me that the fight for your life began before you were even born. I want you to think spiritually right now. God formed you while you were yet in your mother's womb. Your arrival was important. If you were meant to be here, if you were not meant to be here, God would have never allowed you to be born. The enemy knows how special you are to the kingdom of God, which is why he placed it in the heart of Jeff to abort you. All great warriors of God go through trials with their families. Joseph's brothers sold him to silver, and Moses' mother had to abandon him so that Herod could not find and kill him. So spiritually, I want you to know that it's worth the fight and you are here for a reason. I'm going to say that to everybody. You beat all the other sperms, eggs, and you're here. You're worth the fight. God wants you here. Eva, yeah, I guess you're right. I had never thought of it that way. I must admit, I have always felt like I had to prove that I wasn't a mistake. No, you're not a mistake. Tell me more about your relationship with Jeff, your dad. I looked at Angel. She was in my choir. People back home in the port may have knew about my life, but I had started over in the capital. I remember my encounter and experience at church. I was not going to be bound. I had to be free. I took a deep breath. I was ready to tell it. Eva. We hated each other. He treated me like crap. I have known since I was very small that he did not want me. It became really apparent when the twins were born with a lighter complexion and long straight hair. He didn't like them either, but he tolerated them because he thought they were quieter and prettier. Dr. Stone, how do you know he thought these things? Well, from the beginning, family members whispered, and he would say so when I was old enough to argue back with him. He always said he had only married my mother because she was light-skinned, the lightest black woman he could find. He was so disappointed when I came out dark-skinned with thick hair that resembled him. He would say things like, "You're black like me." He would constantly tell me that I was never going to be anything. He started calling me names when I was around 8. What did Tam do? Well, at first, she didn't know because he was always on his best behavior when she was around. I would try to tell her, but it wasn't until she saw it for herself that she believed me. I will never forget the day I was getting my hair braided when Jeff came in with presents for the twins. My mom asked where my gift was. He shrugged his shoulders and said that he hadn't bought one for me and kept walking. At 9 years old, I could see that my mother finally saw the truth. I remember the hurt in her face. See, Mommy, I told you. She was the best mother ever. She tried to overcompensate for his hateful actions, but she was in the hospital a lot. I used to think she couldn't afford to leave him. I couldn't understand if she didn't have anywhere to go or if she stayed because she loved him. Jeff was mean to her. He was mean to us. When he would get to yelling and throwing things, I would step in and defend my mother. When I was bigger, he and I would physically fight. The cops were called a couple of times, but there really wasn't anything my mom could do about it. He was set on hating me, and I knew it. I used to beg her to leave him, but she never did. I guess she loved him. So, what did you do to cope? Asked Dr. Stone. Well, I was constantly trying to prove to everyone that I was the coolest, that I could take care of myself, and that I was going to be something in life. I had an I don't care attitude about the whole situation. I convinced myself that Jeff didn't love me. I didn't love him, and I didn't need him to be my father. I was going to be just fine without him. Pause. For every kid, every person that is without a parent, without the love of a parent, God is your parent, and He is there. Dr. Stone, how did you do this? Well, I made sure I took care of the twins and myself without his help. I cooked and cleaned and cared for my mother and my sisters. My mom was on disability, and I know she didn't have it to give to us, so I made a way. Dr. Stone, Eva, how did you make a way? Well, I would babysit other kids, braid hair. And when I was 13, I started selling marijuana. How did you get marijuana at 13? My brother moved to Wilmington when he was 21 after his dad died. He worked, but he always had weed, so I would ask him for it. At first, he said no, but when I wouldn't stop asking for it, he figured I was smoking it, and he'd rather give it to me because he knew it was safe to smoke than to find out someone else had given me something that would hurt me. I didn't want to smoke it. I wanted it so I could sell it and make money. It seemed like we were always hungry or in need of something. Jeff would eat out and not even be concerned about whether or not we had eaten that day. My mother was on disability, even though she had a degree. She babysat, sold dinners, braided hair, but that wasn't enough. I had to do something to help out. My brother entered the Air Force when he graduated. He made connections, and he got marijuana a lot cheaper, so I had tons of it, and I sold it. I got a job at the movie theater when I was 15 so that my mother wouldn't get suspicious about the money that was coming in, and I made a lot of connections there because most of them were college kids. Did she ask you where you were getting the money from? Dr. Stone said. Yes, but I would tell her that it came from odd jobs and that RJ was giving it to me, which was sort of kind of true. Did you ever smoke any of it? Not until a year later, only because Jeff had kicked us out for a whole month and made us stay with our aunt. What do you mean, kicked you out? Said Dr. Stone. Whenever my mother was in the hospital for a long period of time, we would have to stay with family. Because of the length of time, no one would keep us that long. So Jeff sent us to Charlotte to stay with our aunt. So you missed school? Yep, the whole last month of 7th grade. What did you do? I stocked up on weed so I could make money while I was away. I didn't want to be a burden on my aunt. When my cousin found out, they wanted to smoke, and it made me popular. Then they asked me, had I tried it? I told them no. They said, why not? So I did, and I liked it. That was the summer I grew up. I was hanging out with older teenagers and kids who had dropped out. They just assumed that I was older and had dropped out like them because I wasn't in school, but I was only 14. How did that make you feel? Asked Dr. Stone. It made me feel good. I was the coolest kid they knew. Not to mention the boys thought I was pretty. I mean, I missed my mom, but they helped me to fill the void. And my aunt had the twins all the time, so I didn't have to watch them like I did at home. It was like a vacation. I didn't mind Jeff sending us away. I expected him to do it. The only time he ever let me stay while she was gone was so that I could help pay bills. Pay what bills? Dr. Stone asked. All the bills. Jeff didn't know how to write checks, so he would take me to the bank and withdraw money for all the bills, write the checks, money orders, and send them off. I'd done it since I was about 8 years old. Yes, but how did it make you feel to know that Jeff didn't want you at home? Said Dr. Stone. I don't know. He never wanted us to be there, so I guess it felt normal. Once I was older, I would get the twins and meet hotel room and take cabs to school or have one of my boyfriends take us so Jeff couldn't ship us away and keep us from our mom. That was then, but now that you're older, how does it make you feel that Jeff, your dad, didn't want you around? Asked Dr. Stone. Eva, I guess it sucks. It hurts to know that someone that looks just like you will disown you at every chance they get. It hurts. Does it still hurt? No. Why not? Eva with tears in her eyes. When I became an adult, I realized I wasn't the easiest kid to love. I called my dad and apologized. And for the first time in his life, he admitted to me that he never wanted children. He hadn't had a relationship with his parents, and he didn't know how to be a father. He apologized and I forgave him. That's the Christ-like thing to do. And our relationship is better now. Not because we are perfect, but because I chose to understand and love him. That's enough for one day. I'll see you at 5 p.m. on Monday. Huh? I thought this was just a Saturday thing. No, said Dr. Stone. I have agreed to see you on a daily basis for as long as you need. And the sooner we get through this, the better you will feel. Take this journal. I want you to write how you feel and what happens to you. Thank you, Dr. Stone. Angel and I walked down the stairs. She didn't say anything, but see you later. Not one judging comment. To this day, she's never mentioned it. The other women were leaving. I got in my car and drove home. I couldn't stop thinking about the things I had told Dr. Stone. I had never told anyone some of those things. Some of those things people knew about me, and I would still deny it. I had pushed all those feelings somewhere I didn't want to go again. I had been gone all morning, but I knew Joe would probably still be asleep. At least I hope he was. I didn't want to argue with him. I had to start thinking of myself and where I was going to go. When I got home, it was 10 a.m. Joe was just getting dressed, which was surprising. He asked for the keys and left. I decided I wasn't going to stay inside, so I called my sister. It was time to start apartment looking. Woo, it's getting heated. What y'all think? This is a lot. I cannot wait to see y'all's comments, to see y'all's thoughts, because it's getting real. All right.